Hi, welcome to today's webinar. Hang in there with me for a few seconds. We're waiting for everyone to get connected. It won't take long. Thanks so much for waiting. Looks like everyone's online now, and we have a full house. Let's get started. This webinar will walk you through the evolution of the DiSC profile, the various tools available, and what our publisher Wiley has developed to provide us all with the most advanced DiSC products to date. We'll also discuss options for how to deliver the best training solutions to your organization. But why DiSC profiles? Have you ever wondered why connecting with some people is so much easier for you than connecting with others? You can improve the quality of your workplace by using DiSC profiles to build more effective relationships. DiSC profiles explain why people are the way they are and why they do the things they do. Once you get that down, communicating and handling conflict gets a whole lot easier. When you learn about the different DiSC styles, people make sense. The DiSC model delivers some of the most insightful feedback available. On our webinar today, we're going to cover the DiSC model, everything DiSC profiles, which are the most advanced DiSC products to date, with 5 applications of workplace, management, sales, the work of leaders, 363 for leaders, and finally Epic accounts, the platform to deliver those online assessments to your organization. Housekeeping items today. Everyone is on mute, and while this is not a product demo, this webinar will provide you with a comprehensive overview of these assessment-driven learning solutions used by millions around the world. And if you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A box below the presentation, and I promise you I will answer them via email as soon as the webinar is over. My name is Debbie Giles. I'm the co-founder of Intesi Resources, which is a consulting coaching company in Phoenix, Arizona, offering training and organizational development strategies focused on individuals and teams. I have 35 years plus of experience in business management, human resources, and corporate training. And I'm so pleased to be able to share with you information about everything DiSC, the leading suite of DiSC-based corporate training and assessment solutions that will provide you with a quick way to understand yourself and the needs and the priorities of those around you in order to improve communication and engagement and improve teamwork and increase productivity. I'm an authorized partner for Everything DiSC, a certified DiSC trainer for DiSC Classic, certified facilitator for Everything DiSC Workplace, and we have a brand new product line based on Patrick Lencioni's 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. The new product line is called The 5 Behaviors of a Cohesive Team, and for which I am an authorized partner and an accredited facilitator. Throughout history, people have been trying to understand and explain the differences between people. Dr. William Moulton Marston was the first person to come up with scientific proof that people can be divided into 4 categories based on their nature. In 1928, he published The Emotions of Normal People, where he describes 4 major human emotions and the behaviors related to them. This theory and the model is now known as DiSC, and it's still used today. Marston's goal was to help people to understand that every emotion that they feel is normal. He created the theory and the model of human behavior, but he never did create a corresponding assessment tool. That didn't happen until the 1970s, when Dr. John Geyer, a faculty member at the University of Minnesota's Department of Health Sciences, created the original personal profile system. Dr. Geyer formed a company called Performax that was the first publisher of a DiSC assessment. Performax was later purchased by Carlson Learning, eventually became Inkscape Publishing, and today we now know it as the Workplace Learning Solutions Group at Wiley. That first paper DiSC profile, the Personal Profile System, was published in collaboration with Kurt Carlson of Carlson Learning. This became the first profile in the series of the DiSC profile family. Some other things to note about Dr. William Moulton Marston. He was the creator of Wonder Woman, the lie detector test, and he worked very closely with those in Hollywood to help actors transition from the silent films to the talkies. William Moulton Marston is a giant who left large footprints and a rich legacy that continues to affect people today and will continue to do so in the future. Marston found patterns that predicted how people would behave based on how they perceived themselves in relationship to their environment. Did they feel more or less powerful than the environment, or is the environment favorable or unfavorable to them? Based on these two dimensions, Marston theorized that the behavioral expression of emotions could be identified by 4 primary types. He called them dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance. Marston also believed we were a blend of all 4 styles. And he likened it to a color wheel, where colors flow into each other in a smooth, continuous fashion, and where the combination of red and blue form the color purple, which has its own distinct properties separate from either red or blue. However, the continual measurement of these perceptions of self and environment and the behaviors that define them has provided significant support of Marston's theory and refined it to a highly credible and validated assessment of normal people. Understanding why you respond in a certain way when confronted with various demands from people, expectations from society, and different situations means that we can realize happiness on both a professional and a personal level. Let's start with those 2 basic dimensions of human behavior. Today we can measure these dimensions in terms of observable behaviors. Those are behaviors that we can see. We develop our people reading skills by observing those actual behaviors in 3 simple steps. And there are specific things to look for, which include the body language we show, the tone of voice we use, and the words that we express. For the first step, let's look at the first basic dimension of human behavior shown in the vertical axis. Consider whether this person is more fast-paced and outspoken or more moderate-paced and cautious. Then let's look at the second basic dimension of human behavior, the horizontal axis. Consider whether the same person is more questioning and skeptical or more accepting and warm. Combine those answers from the first 2 steps to determine the person's DiSC style. At its core, the DiSC model is still built from Marston's 2 dimensions, but today we identify them in terms of the behavior that we see, so that the model becomes an intuitive, easy tool for identifying our preferences and the preferences of those of others. These DiSC dimensions also demonstrate that we share similarities with other styles as well as differences. This is what enables this model to not only shed light about those we interact with, but also improve relationships with them. The DiSC profile has evolved through 3 generations. In 2003, the Personal Profile System paper booklet was renamed to DiSC Classic with the release of the DiSC Classic online version. Then in the early 2000s, researchers associated with Inkscape, which we know is Wiley's Workplace Learning Solutions today, began experimenting with ways to represent DiSC with a circumplex model instead of the traditional line graph model. Here a person's DiSC style is reported in a circle, with dot placement and shading in the circle unique to the individual. DiSC Classic, using the forced choice response method on 28 sets of words, plots how you score in 4 distinct styles. The Everything DiSC assessment uses the circle or circumplex as an intuitive way to represent the DiSC model based on responses to a number of statements. There are about 80 of them, and there are not a definite number, and that depends on how the person responds to the statements. To keep it simple and memorable, however, the Everything DiSC model measures 8 scales, the original 4 from DiSC Classic, plus an additional 4 blended styles. DiSC results are reported in a circle, which we refer to as the DiSC map, with dot placement and shading in the circle unique to the individual. The dot placement and shading in the circular model provides a clear visual of the continuous nature of DiSC, showing that everyone is a blend of all 4 styles, although most people tend more strongly towards 1 or 2 styles. Your dot placement tells not only your style, but the intensity of your style. If your dot is positioned towards the edge of the circle, it indicates that you are strongly inclined to the style. The dot that's located between the edge and the center of the circle indicates a moderate inclination, while the dot positioned close to the center of the circle indicates a slight inclination to the style. Research has also validated priorities that are endorsed by these 8 styles. These priorities are primary areas where people focus their energy. They're unique to the application that's used, and they're measured separately. Priorities quickly orient you to the characteristics of each style within a certain context. The words closest to your dot are your primary priorities, and your personalized shading indicates whether you stretch to include any additional priorities. You'll notice that these unexpected or additional priorities are marked by striped shading. We're looking at a DiSC map of someone with a slight eye inclination with the priorities of action, enthusiasm, and collaboration. The striped shading that you see here indicates the additional priority of accuracy for the same person. "15 classical patterns, which are identified by the shape of your profile graph, describe the behavior of people with specific blends of the 4 DiSC styles and provides an interpretation of how each style combines to describe your behavioral style. Each score corresponded with a segment number, and when combined in sequence of D, I, S, and C, identifies your pattern. Classical patterns are DiSC Classic's way of showing that we are a blend of all 4 styles. With Everything DiSC, the blend of all styles is shown as a shading, demonstrating not only that we are a blend, but to what extent we can exhibit characteristics of other styles and understand what they prioritize. Think of the dot placement as your home base and the shading as your comfort zone. This DiSC map is an example of someone with a slight inclination to the S style with the priorities of collaboration, support, and stability, and striped shading indicates the extra priority of action. The benefit to Everything DiSC: it is so much easier to carry the ideas of 8 styles rather than those 15 classical patterns, and Everything DiSC conveys a great deal of information about a person's DiSC style at a glance. The Everything DiSC profiles are application focused. And what does that mean? It means, do you want to improve sales and customer service? Then we would recommend that you select Everything DiSC. Are you working on management issues? Do you want to train managers? Then Everything DiSC Management will definitely help you. Everything DiSC assessments include application-specific measurements. When participants respond to any Everything DiSC assessment, the data is broken into two parts, and this is all behind the scenes. The two parts are a base Everything DiSC assessment that's the same no matter which application that you use, and then on top of that are the application statements. Because the priorities are different for the applications, you may see a slightly different dot placement, but you won't see a drastic change in DiSC style. Each product in the Everything DiSC line has its own set of priorities that have been validated for the application that it addresses. For example, the D location in management reflects the priority of drive. The same location in workplace reflects results. These are both D priorities, the same location on the DiSC map, but they are D in different contexts. So unique response items have been added to a profiles assessment as another way of improving precision and accuracy of the measurement. In the Everything DiSC assessment, participants are shown a series of statements and asked to indicate on a 5-point scale the degree to which they agree with each of these statements. There's an example of that in the image below. The report gives us more data that is specifically relevant to the application or the topic of the product. This in turn provides us more personalized feedback in the report. For example, this map includes the extra priority of accuracy that was strongly endorsed by the respondent in addition to those associated with the person's DiSC style of eye. In 2012, the Everything DiSC product line was updated to increase precision in the personalized feedback and improve the user's experience, giving greater confidence to you and your learners on the accuracy of the measurement in Everything DiSC. An interactive interface called adaptive testing was added to the assessment. With adaptive testing, the participants are presented with questions, and the participants' responses determine the next questions. Participants who respond inconsistently to any statement will be asked to respond to more statements. When Everything DiSC was added to the Everything DiSC assessment process, we learned a couple of things about the accuracy. Accuracy was increased 12% for the Everything DiSC original assessment. For the DiSC Classic, the Everything DiSC adaptive testing measurement showed that that tool is 32% more accurate than DiSC Classic. And for those of you who are interested in the technical aspects of research and validation, we show that the highest level of demonstrated construct validity, that is, the extent to which an assessment measures the concepts or theories which it proposes to measure. The more that a tool measures what it proposes to measure, the more valid the tool is. And then that there's a high correlations with related trusted scales. Researchers examine the actual relationships among those 8 scales to see if they reflect the theoretical relationship proposed by the model. Let's take a look at the applications available in the Everything DiSC suite of products. We have Everything DiSC Workplace, which provides a wealth of information about your priorities and preferences to help you connect better with others to improve the quality of the workplace. Everything DiSC Management shows managers how to bring out the best in their employees by reading employee styles and helping them to adapt their styles to manage more effectively. Everything DiSC Sales helps salespeople connect better with their customers by understanding their DiSC style and adapting their style to meet customer needs. And then we have our 2 leadership profiles. The Everything DiSC Work of Leaders, which encourages leaders to understand their leadership behaviors and how those behaviors impact their effectiveness to craft a vision, build alignment, and champion execution of the vision. Everything DiSC 363 for Leaders is for anyone who wants to use 360-degree feedback as a part of their leadership development, whether it's for an emerging leader, those high potentials, or an experienced executive. Organizations routinely use Everything DiSC training solutions to improve critical people skills in the areas of communication, management, sales, leadership, and more, as indicated by our word cloud. With its circular DiSC model, Everything DiSC offers application layers for the DiSC model that help participants see the immediate relevance of DiSC to their field or their profession. Application layers also means that participants don't have to spend time learning abstract theories about personality or behavior that aren't relevant to their situation. They simply don't have to struggle to understand how DiSC relates to their goals and developmental needs. Part of the power of DiSC lies in its simplicity and the ability to apply it immediately. It becomes apparent right away to the participants how they can use this model to connect better with coworkers, improve their workplace, and definitely be more successful at their jobs. Let's dive deeper into each of the applications. The workplace profile. Everything DiSC Workplace shows us that great workplaces are about building effective relationships. When participants understand the priorities and preferences of the people they work with, they are better prepared to engage their coworkers in ways that will ensure greater productivity and more effective working relationships. Everything DiSC Workplace provides a personalized 4-step learning experience that can be used with everyone in the organization, regardless of title or role. It begins with discovering your DiSC style. What priorities shape your workplace experience? What motivates you and what stresses you? The second step is understanding other styles. You learn what makes them tick and what's the motivation for their behavior. And then you learn how you tend to react to each of their behaviors. The third step is building more effective relationships with coworkers of all DiSC styles, and it includes strategies for being more effective with each DiSC style when you're trying to connect with them, solve problems with them, or when things get tense with them, with adaptations you can make in your own DiSC style to be more effective overall. The final step is follow-up. Take DiSC back to the workplace with 3 key strategies to increase your workplace effectiveness, and then use specialized tools to understand how you and others can work more effectively together. The Workplace Profile, which was released in 2009, is the third application, and it was released after Sales and Management. It is also the most frequently used application because of its broad applicability to improve the quality of the workplace by not only understanding yourself, but also understanding and appreciating those around you and applying what you learn to create more productive working relationships. There are many applications for the Everything DiSC Workplace Profile: improving communication, building teams, reducing conflict, onboarding, coaching. The learning process starts with a personalized 20-page report based on the responses to an online assessment. The report can be used by itself in a coaching situation or combined with facilitation materials for classroom training. The workplace profile will help you discover your preferences, help you understand that each of your colleagues have their own behavioral and communication preferences and why your coworkers say and do the things they do, and then use that knowledge to build more effective working relationships. At the end of each profile, there is a personalized style guide that provides you with a quick overview on how you can relate to each of the different styles. The Everything DiSC Management Profile. It helps to build capacity and strength among managers at all levels, whether they're longtime veterans or those new to the role. Developed specifically to enhance the critical skills managers need to build solid, one-to-one relationships with direct reports as well as up the chain of command. Like Everything DiSC Workplace, the Everything DiSC Management Profile uses DiSC assessment data to create a highly personalized profile. Unlike Workplace, however, the management profile focuses on a person's management priorities and preferences, and participants learn how their management style influences how they manage time, make decisions, approach problems, and what they need to do to adapt to the styles of others to bring out the best in each and every employee in their charge. It also examines how these priorities and preferences may affect the one-to-one relationship the manager has with their direct reports when directing and delegating others, providing motivating environments, developing others, and working more effectively with their own manager. It is the most in-depth, easily customizable, DiSC-based management training solution available today. Everything DiSC Management uses DiSC to help managers bring out the best in each employee. So managing effectively now means moving from a one-size-fits-all management approach to it depends on who I'm managing approach. Good people managers excel at reading the needs of their staff and adapting their style accordingly. And the best news is that these are skills that can be developed. With Everything DiSC Management, managers will develop their own styles, improve communication with the individuals they manage and the individuals that manage them, increase employee engagement. In each of these areas, managers will learn to be more effective in one-to-one professional relationships. One of the key drivers of high employee engagement, trust, and performance cultures is having strong and supportive relationships with employees and managers. With Everything DiSC Management, people can begin to build effective relationships with the people they manage. The focus is first on the individual manager, who learns about their DiSC style, their specific management priorities, and how these factors impact the way they approach different aspects of management. But the profile goes beyond the individual manager to look at how they could be more effective with their direct reports based on the employees' DiSC styles. Finally, it offers ideas for how the individual can improve their relationship with their own manager. The 27-page report begins with understanding your management style. What priorities shape your management experience? What do you enjoy about managing, and what drains your energy as a manager? The second step is understanding your employees' needs in the 3 key areas of managing: directing and delegating, how each style likes to work, potential problems when working together, and how to be effective with each style. Motivating your employees in the environment that you create for them. Developing your employees, areas where they have strong potential, and obstacles and strategies in their development process. The third step involves working with your manager. One of the most overlooked aspects of management is sometimes called managing up. This refers to effectively working with and influencing your own manager. The final step is taking DiSC back to the workplace and use those specialized tools to understand how you can work more effectively with your employees, your colleagues, and your manager. Everything DiSC Sales Profile. Like Workplace and Management, the Everything DiSC Sales Profile also uses DiSC assessment data to create a highly personalized report. And it begins by helping the salesperson understand their DiSC style. As the name implies, however, sales is directed at helping sales and customer service professionals recognize their customers' style and learn how to adapt their approach to be more effective with their clients and customers. The results? They will close more sales and provide better customer support. Not only will the participant discover their own DiSC style, recognize the priorities, personal strengths, and challenges that shape their sales interaction with others, but they will also explore other styles, read their customers, understand the differences and similarities among DiSC buying styles, learn to recognize the behaviors unique to each style, and adapt their approaches when they learn new ways to find common ground with all types of customers, and then create a plan of action to get more out of the sales process and deliver better bottom line results. Sales-specific content in the 25-page report and modular facilitation tools features deliver an easy-to-customize development solution to help participants discover new strategies for stretching beyond their natural preferences to make the selling process more productive and successful, regardless of the customer's unique buying style. The focus is first on the individual salesperson and begins with understanding your sales style. They will learn about their own DiSC style and their specific sales-related priorities, with specific information about their general approach to selling. They will also learn how these factors impact their sales strengths and challenges. The profile will then shift focus to the customer. The second step is understanding the customer's priorities. The Everything DiSC Sales Program offers a deep dive into customer buying styles and shows how to recognize common patterns people may show based on their DiSC style. The salesperson learns how to recognize other styles using those Everything DiSC people reading methods. The third step involves learning how to adapt your sales approach to better match the priorities of the customer. They explore what drives customers of different styles and how to adapt to them to quickly build meaningful connections with these individuals, with a final focus on a particular customer who the salesperson identified when completing the assessment. The final step is follow-up. Take DiSC back to the workplace and use those specialized add-on tools to understand how you can work more effectively with others. Now we're going to move into Everything DiSC Work of Leaders. How is it different from the other profiles? Unlike other DiSC profiles which emphasize understanding the differences between people, the Work of Leaders focuses on understanding how your tendencies influence your effectiveness in specific leadership situations. Work of Leaders focuses on tangible steps directed at leading a group or an organization towards desired outcomes. Based on the latest research, some behaviors are known to be more effective over others within a given context. The preferred behaviors will change depending on the needs of the situation. Everything DiSC Work of Leaders connects unique leadership styles to the real-world demands, focusing on the tangible steps leaders can take to effectively move an organization or a group forward. Your personalized profile focuses on developing preferred behaviors that are based on best practices. The assessment looks at 18 behaviors that research shows lead to better leadership. Training and practice in these areas should be part of any leadership development program. By knowing how emerging leaders scored, the trainer can then focus future training more effectively. Understanding how this helps you stretch into preferred behavior when the situation dictates. Everything DiSC Work of Leaders lays out a clear path for helping leaders at all levels make the connection between their DiSC style and leadership. An overview of DiSC and a narrative about the participants' DiSC style are provided in the early pages of the Work of Leaders profile, and it gives sufficient foundation for an understanding of how the leader's natural tendencies influence their leadership skills. However, the organization does not need to be DiSC literate to use Everything DiSC Work of Leaders. Unlike Everything DiSC management, which focuses on bringing out the best in the individual people they manage on a one-to-one basis, Everything DiSC Work of Leaders defines leadership as a one-to-many relationship and focuses on increasing effectiveness in the areas of vision, alignment, and execution using 18 behavioral continua based on leadership practices. The Work of Leaders provides a simple three-step process that will help the leader reflect on how they approach the most fundamental work of leaders. The steps are presented in the chart on the right of the slide. This model begins with creating a vision of new possibilities for the future, followed by building alignment around that vision, and finally championing the execution of the vision. There are 3 drivers of each step, and finally there are 2 behavioral continua for each driver, and that takes us to those 18 behaviors that research shows leads to better leadership. The Work of Leaders 23-page report begins by helping participants understand their own DiSC leadership style, including their specific leadership priorities or approaches, and focuses on tangible steps leaders can take to effectively move their organization or their group forward. The program then takes them through the vision, alignment, execution model, including how their natural inclinations may influence their approach to each of the leadership practices. It explores in detail how to play to their strengths and overcome challenges, improving leadership effectiveness. And finally, the profile provides personal tips and examples to guide participants through creating an action plan to improve their leadership approach. The report delves deep into steps leaders can take to increase behaviors linked to essential best practices of leadership. The work of leaders is not just for CEOs. It was developed for leaders at all levels that are responsible for crafting visions. These visions should support the organization's visions, and these visions may look different from the top-level vision, but they are equally important. The work of leaders is a great tool for organizations that want to foster growth for emerging high potentials and experienced executives alike. And our final tool, the Everything DiSC work of leaders. Who takes the Everything DiSC 363 for leaders? The Everything DiSC 363 is a report organized around the leader. The leader is given an online assessment which takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete. The remaining respondents are raters who have been invited to provide feedback around the leader. Leaders can have an unlimited number of raters in the following categories: managers, peers, direct reports, and others. Except for managers, the feedback provided by the raters is anonymous. 363 for leaders isn't a typical 360 assessment. It allows a leader and their assigned observers to rate the leader on 8 different approaches. These are also known as priorities, and the 3 practices that make up each approach. Many 360 products allow the raters to submit open-ended comments. 363 for leaders uses CommentSmart, which is a proprietary, selectable comments feature that helps keep the feedback focused, balanced, and useful. It helps the raters save time, giving specific constructive feedback to the leader. The leader's 26-page profile begins with an explanation of the 8 approaches and a personalized narrative about their leadership outlook. It's based on research-validated model, and the report is easy to read with strong visuals and illustrations. The profile then shifts focus to help the leader understand how others see them with rich cuts of data and feedback breakdowns. This shift begins with the big picture view of the feedback. It examines the overall ratings for each of the 8 approaches, provides a comparison between how the leader and the observers rated the leader, and then breaks down the ratings by observer groups. The profile then presents a more detailed view so that the leader will see the ratings and the observer's comments for each practice within the 8 approaches, and this is all anonymous. And finally, the profile focuses on those final 3 parts of the 363 experience, helping the leader apply what they've learned with 3 personalized strategies for development. And it also provides a comprehensive listing of rater comments. 363 for leaders is different and unique because it uses assessment results from many respondents to provide 360 feedback. The report focuses on the interpersonal aspects of leadership. It is not designed for appraisal. The report uses DiSC behind the scenes. It's not explicitly addressed in the report, but it provides a natural context and rich narrative. Intuitive visuals and graphs make data easier to understand and process. This report is not a collection of those dry, boring spreadsheets and charts without any explanation or story. Clear visuals and a conversation narrative style interpret and explain the data, making the report easy to understand and to use. Comment Smart removes the sting of rater comments, making them much more productive. Open-ended comments can be unfocused and unhelpful. They can even derail the learning process. As an alternative, this assessment uses context-specific comments, which raters select to provide more detailed feedback. This in turn allows raters to give focused, balanced, constructive comments that the leader can actually use, and it won't distract people from the information contained in the report. The 363 provides strengths and actionable strategies to answer the question, now what? The leader learns 3 personalized strategies for becoming a more effective leader based on specific rater feedback. There's an additional tool called a 363 coaching supplement for pre-coaching session planning that provides an overview of a leader's DiSC style to help facilitate a more comprehensive and meaningful interpretation of the multi-rater feedback. The coaching supplement is an independent report designed to provide the coach with information that is not included in the 363 leader report, and the coaching supplement can be printed out when the leader's report is available. Now let's tap into the power of EPIC. What is EPIC? EPIC is an acronym for Electronic Profile Information Center. It's an easy-to-use virtual warehouse that allows you to effectively manage access, completion, viewing of all online everything DiSC profiles through the Internet. We rely on EPIC for the varied tasks associated with administering online assessments to clients and learners alike. EPIC is the foundational web-based platform that supports all of our online products. EPIC allows us to administer access codes for online assessments, monitor report completion, and manage and print profile reports from anywhere in the world. EPIC credits are the currency used to issue these access codes for individual reports and to generate group and facilitator reports. The benefits of an EPIC account are that it saves you time and money. Instead of spending 30 to 45 minutes completing a profile in a training session, employees can complete assessments online in advance, ensuring that every single minute of training time is used to its full advantage. One of the great features about EPIC, though, is that it's also mobile friendly. You can also send online profiles to anyone in the world via email, making this platform ideal for the needs of multi-location businesses. Once someone completes an assessment, EPIC scores and generates the personalized profile right away. You, as the administrator, have the option to allow people to view their profiles immediately upon completion of the assessment, or you can print the reports and then reveal the results as part of your training program or use it as a standalone piece. How does the Epic account work? You have complete control of the online system. Since it's web-based, you have access to your data from any PC connected onto the internet. An internal individual is responsible for the administration of the profiles, and as an Epic system administrator, you control access to the online profiles. Using Epic, the administrator can issue assessments to anyone in the world, anytime, via the internet, monitor those report completions, and customize select everything DiSC reports. You can also build group reports using stored data as individuals complete their reports. Group reports provide a composite of your group's DiSC style and information on how those DiSC styles can impact the organization's culture. Regenerate group reports as team members change, and make training stick with Epic exclusive post-training reinforcements. Epic also offers reports and features not available in paper profiles through a variety of auxiliary features, ranging from group results to overviews of a team's interpersonal relationships and tailoring everything DiSC reports according to your company's training needs. You have the ability to rearrange sections of the everything DiSC reports or totally omit them to fit your training needs. You can even change the title of the profile to reflect your company, training program, or the team. And then as teams change, new group reports can be generated from the existing data, adding new understanding without requiring more training time. The key features of Epic: not only can you deliver assessments across the room or around the world from your computer and control the learner's access to their completed reports, but you can also feature your logo and contact information on the response screen for the participant and their report covers. This reinforces your brand and personalizes the experience for every user. The system will also send notices to the administrator as participants complete their assessments. Some more key features: personalize those email notes that Epic sends to the participants. You can create a library of custom email messages when sending the assessments or add a message on the fly. Generate group reports from online responses. Reports can be generated immediately upon completion, and you can view, print, email, and save the reports. Remember those specialized tools that I talked about that would assist in taking DiSC back to the workplace? Comparison reports are the most frequently used tool to help reinforce training and to make it stick. These reports are especially valuable for improving relationship, building teams, and reducing conflict. They're ideal for individual coaching or small group work. Comparison reports can be created between any two participants using any everything DiSC program. The reports illustrated similarities and differences, potential roadblocks in working together, and the practical tips for improving working relationships between colleagues. And how much do these comparison reports cost? Are you ready for this? The comparison reports are free as an Epic Account Administrator, you can generate an unlimited number of comparison reports at no additional cost. Why should you use Epic? Deliver those reports when and where you want. Deliver personalized profile reports with your company contact information and logo. Increase productivity by maximizing training time. Using Epic helps conserve your organization's valuable training time. Because employees complete their assessments online prior to the training session, every minute of classroom time can be used to its full advantage. Purchase Epic credits as you need them to maintain a just-in-time inventory of online profiles. Credits do not expire, and you can apply them to any of the online profiles available in your Epic account. The credits are then redeemed as you issue the assessments as your choice. In conclusion, my goal wasn't to sell you on DiSC profiles today. My goal was to educate you about DiSC profiles because they work, plain and simple. It changes the way trainers, consultants, coaches, and mentors conduct their businesses. Here are some questions for you. Do you want to add new dimension to your business? Do you want to reduce prep time while saving time and money? These results are not being pulled out of thin air. I am basing this on my professional experience, our clients' experiences, and the fact that we have been working with some of the top producing businesses in the world since 2004. So let's roll up our sleeves. Make an appointment to talk with me by phone and discuss how it would work for you. So here's the deal. First, under this presentation, you need to scroll down and click on the Book a Session with Debbie button below. It will open a symbol calendar that will allow you to reserve a call on my personal calendar and ask you some simple questions about your needs so that we can get a good feel before we hop on our free call together. After you book a phone appointment, I will give you a call on the scheduled date and time. When you do that, one of two things will happen. You'll say, "Wow, this is amazing. I want to work with you to take this to the next level." Or you're going to say, "You know, this just isn't what I thought it would be, and I was hoping for something else." So here's what's next. Press the button below the presentation, grab a time on my calendar. You will get a quick email reminder of the appointment, and I'll call you on the day and time that you select. Thanks so much for your time and interest today. I hope to hear from you at the appointed time, and I know you're going to love this. I look forward to talking with you soon.